How's it going, everyone? So where the hell have I been? I started making videos back in 2016 when I first got sober, and I was pretty consistent with it. And while I did say I don't want to just make videos to make videos, and that I feel like once I've said everything I've needed to say, that it'll just kind of live on YouTube like a digital library. I felt like I'd kind of warned everyone that that was potentially happening. It still was potentially kind of jarring to just get radio silence. Now, granted, I'm just kind of speculating. I don't know what it was like from the outside perspective. In that meantime, though, a lot has happened. For one, I'm still sober. I have been sober. There haven't been any slip-ups or days that I've drank or anything like that. Even through COVID, which was really cool. But I've also grown some other social media platforms. I've always had Instagram. I've had Instagram longer than YouTube. And then I got a TikTok. My friend recommended it to me at the beginning of COVID. And I thought it was just lip syncing music videos or something. But as you all know, it's grown into something much more than that. It's anything and everything. And those two platforms have grown. At the beginning of those things growing, I had a couple people reach out that had only known me through YouTube. And they were like, who is this? Who is this version of you now? Like, this isn't the person I've come to know. And I feel like you've just sold out for this internet clout. And I was like, I think you have to get paid a lot of money to it count as selling out. But most importantly, YouTube was always just this one specific avenue of my life. It was just this one topic of sobriety and how I personally approached it. And hopefully through sharing my story and what has worked for me, it might help some other people, that people could effectively grocery shop through my stories and take what works for them and leave what doesn't, So now I'm back, and my plan is to be more consistent on here, but to offer more than I was before. And that includes sobriety. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I have a lot that I want to express and talk about, potentially having guests on. This is a pretty rudimentary setup that I have right now. I do have a ring light tripod setup right now, but I don't have an expensive mic, and I'm just using my phone to record this video. But I plan on investing in actual YouTube equipment so that the audio and the video is higher quality. And if things really start taking off, then hopefully I can get out of this apartment and get into a better space. The point being is that I feel like I have more to offer. And I've seen some of the people that really blow up on social media platforms, and I'm not trying to cast shade on anyone, but I feel like I have a decent amount of things to offer the world that potentially could elevate me into a career that I would find not only fun, but really fulfilling. Since I think we last spoke, I was still bartending. And while bartending was fun, because it was effectively, in a way, almost doing this, I got to just be myself at work, and I get to just talk to people, and I'm just, running food. Even when it was really busy, I felt like the more pressure that was on you in the moment, I handled it really well. And, every night was a little different. So, and I get really bogged down and I, worn out really quickly if what I'm doing is super repetitive. Like I could never, crunch numbers or something. Like I would go nuts. But so I left that and I became a carpenter. And I've been a carpenter for almost 3 years now. Or I guess I should say I've been doing carpentry. I would consider myself a carpenter at this point, but I haven't been the entire time. Obviously, I had to learn it. And while there's a lot of carpentry that I really like, and towards the end of jobs, it is really fulfilling stepping back and looking at this house that you built from the ground up, I would be lying if I said that that was my dream job. In a way, I kind of just joined it on a whim. I'm about to sneeze. I wanted to make this video a while ago, but I was sick. And the part that's not leaving me is this sinus, itchy, congestion, constant drip. So I apologize for that, but I just felt like I had to just get the goddamn ball rolling. Anyway, I got into carpentry on a whim. I had known a contractor that came by the bar often, and I just said, how could I go about getting into carpentry? Do I have to go to school for it, or is there a program I have to do? And turns out they just hire you and they teach you from the ground up. So that's what I had been doing. And I liked it. I do like it for the most part, but it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I just knew that bartending wasn't a career that I wanted to stake my claim in. The longer I bartend, it's not like I get more money and benefits and all that. You just kind of hit the ceiling and that's it. That's the amount of money you make. And it's comfortable and it's not bad money. It's cash in hand. You don't gotta claim as much on your taxes. But seniority doesn't really mean much. Since I've grown my TikTok and my Instagram, I've seen other creators that have a much smaller following than me that have quit their jobs and they're like, this is what I'm doing. I'm jumping in. And so effectively, that's what I am trying to do. I'm not quitting my job yet, but I'm trying to see if I can turn a career out of this. Now, there's so much more that I want to build off of this, right? And this whole video right now is just kind of a reintroduction for me saying what's been going on in my life, which I want to do in further extent in other videos, but just kind of letting you know what the tone is. And hopefully some of you that follow me on here, follow me on my other platforms, because I haven't posted on here in years. So I imagine that no one's been waiting around with bated breath for me to say something again. And you probably follow me on my other stuff. So moving forward, I plan on having actual merch and having my prints available, calendars, stuff like that, t-shirts that I've designed, also with my tattoo artist, potentially doing a podcast, but all of this is going to be happening while I'm also working full-time as a carpenter. So it's going to be this kind of shaky, rocky transition. But if I can make it work, I think that would be pretty amazing. And if I don't ever try for it, I'll look back and always be upset that I didn't try for it. So this is me letting you know that that's my plan. And I always want to be very transparent with everyone on here, because I see this thing on social media a lot of the times where it's like people have this like character of themselves, but the online character is like pretty much a clone of their real life personality, except it says bad stuff. And I've never understood the point of that besides, skirting, accountability. So I've always just wanted to be exactly who I am. And so if who I am is not your cup of tea, then I totally understand that. And you don't have to follow me. But I think there are a lot of people that do resonate with what I'm saying and like my sense of humor, which I'm going to be doing more of those things on this in segmented playlists. I'm going to have my sobriety videos. I'm going to have my horror movie and book recommendations. I'm going to have other goofy stuff on here. And it's going to have more structure instead of how it's been this last time, which is just a blank channel that I just shoot videos out into, not monetizing it or anything. And that's because I just didn't really put in any effort into learning. I just wanted to tell people what worked for me as far as sobriety went. And that was all I cared about. And I still want to be able to tell people the things that I've learned in my life approaching sobriety the way that I have. But I just want to expand that into more avenues and hopefully give people more enjoyment out of it. I'm also really open to suggestions of what people want me to potentially do that I think that I could do well, So it's not just like, tell me what hoop you want me to jump through and I will, but if it's something that I think actually makes sense and maybe I just didn't think about it, I'll definitely take it into consideration. So all of that being said, hopefully going into this next year, there's going to be some big changes. And if you aren't already following me on my TikTok or my Instagram, it's just Celtic Jumper. It's the same. I try to have it the same on all platforms, but those are really the only two that I really use is Instagram and TikTok. And I'm trying to kind of build this big cohesive thing to make it all work and have it be enjoyable and make things that people really want and are gonna get some fulfillment out of, and have it be kind of a back and forth. So anyway, enough of me rambling. I really appreciate you guys for sticking around. In fact, my channel has grown since I've been gone, and I think that's just because it's been linked to my other accounts. But either way, hopefully this is gonna be great. And if it isn't, at least I can look back and say I gave it a shot. So stay tuned and we'll see what happens. Love y'all so much.